You're live on the air. Can you tell us your name, where you're calling from?
Yes. This is Brien from Massachusetts.
Brad, welcome.
So my question is a bit of a personal one. I'll try to keep my situation a little brief.
Okay, sure.
So both of my parents are Jewish, but they never grew up in a observant house. And ever since moving to the U.S., they lost even more touch. And after a couple of years, they started going to church, and then I wasn't included in this, and then I started going. And then for some reason, my dad started studying more about the Torah more than he would about the New Testament, which was a bit odd at the time. And then he started, tracing back his genealogy. And then as time went on, he started accepting more his heritage. And I really liked this. And for me, it was natural. So I started also doing this. And then eventually we left the church. But my mom is still in the church, and there's kind of a little conflict in our house. And for example, me and my dad, we only observe the more individual commandments like kosher and these things. But there is still a little conflict. Like, we do not fully observe the Sabbath or Pesach. And I'm trying to be more observant. And these things really hurt me in a way, because I realized our heritage and where we come from, and it's just sad. It's sad that we had to depart from this. And I'm just wondering if you cannot, that's perfectly fine. But if you can bring some insight to what I can do or what I should do, and it's also hard for us to contact any local rabbi, because my dad said that it wouldn't be all right if we mentioned that we went to the church and all of these things. So if you can provide an insight, that'd be very thankful. Thank you.
Before you get off, first of all, thank you for calling.
Yes.
Second, I'd like to be in touch with you personally.
Yes.
I'd like to help you through this. And, on air, we could talk just a little bit, but it's probably better if we talk personally. And if you send me an email, you can find my email address on our website, outreachjudaism.org. First of all, I am just so grateful you called in. Just so grateful. Happy Passover. Welcome home. Your mother is Jewish by birth. Is that correct?
Yes.
Let's be very clear that you are as Jewish as I am. Whatever your parents did has no bearing on your Jewishness. You are completely Jewish if your mother is Jewish, and your mother's Jewish if her mother's Jewish. And your mother's converting to Christianity in no sense, in no way, robs you of your Jewish heritage. It is true that your mom, she should be well, should learn more about the Jewish faith and consider returning to the Jewish faith. I can imagine that there could be tension at home, because now there's sort of a struggle between your dad, who wants to embrace his Jewish heritage, and your mom, who's reluctant to do that. I could certainly see how something like that could happen. And maybe, let me just ask you this question. First of all, how old are you?
I'm 19.
Is it possible that if you're at home and you embrace your Jewish faith and worship the God of Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob alone, and celebrated Passover and Shabbat, would that in some way create some tension, because it would appear to your mom that you're choosing your dad over your mom in some way? Like you're choosing his path rather than her path?
Yeah, that's actually, she brings that up a couple times, and it frustrates her. So I'm not, I really don't know what to do sometimes.
This is what makes complete sense, because why would your mother oppose you observing Shabbat, observing Passover, praying in a way that's Jewish? How does that bear upon her? Now, I understand why she would want people to be Christians and so on, and certainly you would want to help her and address her questions. Bear in mind, for your mom, Christianity is almost certainly not just a belief, but it has become her whole world. All her social connections are intimately connected to the church. Her friends are from the church. Does that make any sense to you?
Yes.
So therefore, for her to leave Christianity could be frightening, A. B, in a sense, it's sort of giving in to your dad because as you've expressed it, there's some tension there. C, it's frightening her because she's been told she's going to go to hell if she doesn't believe in Jesus. But also very important is it would bring but a considerable amount of public shame to her social network, which has become very important to her. I mean, given that there's tension now between your mom and dad at home, your mom's source of social contact probably is less your dad and more the other people from the church. What is beneath the surface here is a lot of social networking and your mother's trauma of losing everything, losing her family and so on, meaning her new family, the church. If you bear this in mind, you can traverse this more easily. And one of the things you can do is just reassure your mom that you love her very, very much, and this has nothing to do with dad. And because of your Jewish faith, that makes you want to honor her and love her even more. See? So you want to convey that to her because there's also a fear, I think, and correct me if I'm wrong, your mother may be concerned that if you embrace Judaism, she's going to lose you in a way. Because does that mean you're not going to eat my food? And does that mean you're choosing your dad's side? And then that's going to create some distance? And that might be in there in front of your mother's mind. Does that make any sense to you?
Yeah, what all you're saying is very close to home.
What is really important for you to do is to take your mom's hand and say that, my Jewish faith, which is really the Jewish faith of my grandmother, my great-grandmother, that now inspires me to be closer to you, to honor you, to love you. Torah says so. And now that you've embraced Judaism, Judaism doesn't make us further apart, Mom. Reassure her that it's going to make us closer. It's going to make me closer to you. And the only thing I'm choosing the one Father who is the Father of all of us. If you slowly reassure her of that and explain to her that you're not choosing side, you're not choosing your dad over her, that will slowly make her feel a little bit better. But does that make any sense to you?
Yes, it is. Yes, thank you very much.
Be careful about one other thing, my dear brother. Moms love to feed their children. Mom loves to cook for you. And it's strange that if you told your mom that I became a vegetarian, so I can't eat from anything that's been cooked, and I can't eat any meat or I can't even eat. There are vegetarians that are so religious they won't even eat from a pot that we used to cook meat. And that probably wouldn't bother your mom that much, but this might be more scary to her if you say, I just can't eat that because the Torah commands us to eat only clean foods. Leviticus 11, slaughtered properly, Deuteronomy 12. So that could be touchy. Oh, you won't even eat the food I cook for you. That really, with a mom, that can really hit home. Because that means it's not good enough. So try to explain to her that, look, it's a way of honoring Hashem, and you need to compensate for that a little bit. What may seem trivial to you might be very important to her. And if you sort of get what's going on, the triangulation, your mom, dad, you at home, you'll be able to be observant. Hashem wants you to be faithful to His Torah and to keep the commandments and to have a personal relationship with Hashem that's pure, and to be careful about what you eat and be careful about Shabbat. Shabbat is literally life for the soul. Really is it. Shabbat is just a delight. It lifts you up. And I'm going to just pray to Hashem with you. Would you do this with me? Would you consider saying the Shema with me together as a Jew?
Yes.
All right. So what we're going to do is we're going to read together Deuteronomy chapter 6, verse 4, okay? And it's just a passage that you should say in the morning and the evening, and we'll do that together now. There's a really big mitzvah, okay? So what we do is we just cover our eyes, and I'm going to say it in Hebrew. You can say it after me, okay?
Okay.
Shema
Shema
Yisrael
Israel
Adonai
Adonai
Eloheinu
Elohim
Adonai
Adonai
Echad.
Echad.
Welcome home.
Thank you very much. Thank you.
Send me a message. And one thing, my dear brother, be very careful until Passover is over next week. Don't eat anything that could possibly have any, unless you find matzah in some supermarket, which you might be able to. But don't eat any cake, bread, anything that might have any grain product in it. Just be really careful with that. Okay?
Okay. Thank you very much, Rabbi. Thank you.
Happy Passover.
Happy Passover.
אדון עולם אשר מלך בטרם כל יציר נברא